Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be an updated Esport Tiger roundup. I have not done one of these in a while, and it's going to kick off the start of some lovely mousepad content. So in this video, I'm going to be looking at 4 pads mainly: the Longteng Huoyun 2, the Wuxiang 2 North Tortoise, the updated Esport Tiger Blaze, and then what's this last one called? The Qingsui X, maybe, if I'm right. I'm like a genius. But yeah, we're going to get right into these reviews. Starting off with the Longteng Huoyun 2 Special Edition, and this mousepad, you see it has a pretty sick design on it, but what's really cool about it is the texture. It is basically, as far as I can tell, a clone of the Xtrfy GPZ1 Rocket Jump Ninja's mousepad. It is a mud pad by every imaginable definition. I don't think that's what I was trying to say, but yeah, you can see this thing is fucking muddy, and it has that felt velvet like texture. And there are going to be some slight differences between this and the GPZ1 because of the fact that this has a design printed on it, but these are 95% the same mousepad. They even have the same like defect where it won't lay flat in the same area. So don't buy this expecting like an artisan level like quality pad, or really just anything aside from like a GSR GPZ1 slow controlled pad if you're looking for something for maybe a lighter mouse, or if you just want a high amount of control, high static friction and controlled dynamic friction in general. Got to bust out a lighter test, of course. This pad is 460 by 400 by 4 millimeters, I believe, and you can see it is pretty stiff. There's not a lot of plushiness. You're not going to be able to like press down and really sink into the pad, but you can definitely press down and gain a level of control. You can see the rubber base they're using is the same as the one that Razer used for the Razer Strider. It is just a standard natural rubber base. It does not perform especially well. I don't have any problems once my wrist is planted though, but yeah, all in all, this is a solid, seriously controlled mousepad for $40. Unless you really like the design, I'm not like going out there and recommending it, but I know there is a niche for like super controlled pads, and they don't come out too often. So this is a solid entry into that market, but nothing really to write home about. Damn, I put the pad away and just realized I forgot to mention the stitched edges. They're honestly not bad. They are pretty close to being flush with the surface, and they feel pretty soft to the touch. There's absolutely no issue with like moving your wrist and them being abrasive. So it's solid stitching from Esport Tiger, but the pad's just nothing I would really ever consider using or maining, especially for a faster paced game. Next up is the Wuxiang 2 North Tortoise. The pad has what we refer to in the industry as a rainbow pearl film coating. I can't really tell you what that means, but I can show you what that means with the way it reacts to light. It also provides a very fast experience with PTFE, but especially with glass. You can see it's like a spinning top. There's very little friction, and this coating is extremely similar to the Vancer Ace that just came out, but these pads are different, like just styles. You can see how thin the Wuxiang 2 is versus the Vancer Ace, which has stitched edges, is a thicker pad. So this does provide a more buttery and smooth experience, also performs extremely fast with the glass skate. But I would say if you want a pad that is, what the fuck, yeah, basically, if you're looking for a pad that's going to provide a similar experience to a more controlled glass pad like the Serapad Kin, this is kind of your guy. I have only been using this on and off for like a month now, and it does seem like the coating has slowed down a bit. But yeah, these like Shiddinkai Glorious Ice clone style pads are nothing that I widely recommend. At $35, I don't think it's outrageous, but it's just not a great pad that I'm going to widely recommend. The rubber base, I don't think the base itself is too bad, but this is just such a thin and light pad that it really does move around easily. I remember one time I was doing like a vertical tracking situation, and I just brought the pad down with my arm and the mouse didn't track. So that was insane. It's like hard to replicate. But so yeah, there's definitely a significant chance, even with your arm planted, that this base could just move around on your desk. So if you are looking for a higher quality, just like thicker version of this pad, definitely go with the Vancer Ace. But the Esport Tiger designs are cool. This makes me feel very powerful. Next up is going to be the Esport Tiger Blaze, which unlike the first 2 mousepads, I do think is actually something special and just something that I can consider a top tier mousepad. So if you don't know, the original Esport Tiger Blaze came out, I believe, in 2021, and it had massive quality issues. They had to discontinue it and work on it, and they got in their bags and created this Puru Plus base. I don't know if you can see, but it says like Esport Tiger on it. It looks very proprietary, and this thing is incredible. I think it's a silicone base, and it is truly like immovable. Like, I'm just gonna keep doing this until it fucking moves. I don't think it's gonna move. Putting like hundreds of pounds of force into this. This base is absolutely nuts. I just gave up. It beat me. The pad is also a Cordura surface. It's similar to something like the Endgame Gear MPC 450 in terms of speed. So if you're looking for a faster, like low friction Cordura pad, I don't think this is uncontrollable. I thought it was fine for Fortnite, and the fucking MW2 beta, that game is atrocious. But yeah, I don't know, I was just using this pad for that game. Some things to note are that the pad is going to be extremely stiff. You can see it definitely does not want to bend. It was shipped flat for this reason, and for $40 flat shipped with the silicone base, a good performing like speed Cordura surface, it's not going to be the most comfortable texture. If you've ever used an Endgame Gear, just a popular Cordura pad, you're going to know what this feels like. If you scratch it, makes a high-pitched noise. But yeah, the quality is really top-notch. The stitched edges are never going to be like perfectly flush on a Cordura pad, but they're not raised too much from the surface. It's not going to cause any issues like on your wrist. And overall, I was really surprised by this. This is probably Esport Tiger's highest quality pad. I don't know if they have other pads with this base, but yeah, this really does feel like a hard pad. And yeah, since this is a Cordura pad, the durability and consistency is obviously going to be top notch. I've not noticed any type of wear down. With PTFE skates like Tiger Ice, BTL skates, and core pads, there is going to be a light like grazing texture when you move your mouse, but it's nothing that has resistance really, and the static friction to dynamic friction ratio, it just feels fast all around with low static friction. To give a quick lighter test, you can see that there is not going to be a lot of squishiness. You're not going to gain a lot of control from pressing down. This is a fast pad no matter how you twist it. But for $40, it's something I can actually recommend if you're looking for a high-quality Cordura pad that just doesn't have an insanely jacked up price. I remember an Endgame Gear released a pad with like a silicone base. It was like $60 for a small pad. So this seems like a good deal. The design is like extremely vibrant. Not that that really matters for performance. But yeah, last but not least is going to be the Qingsui X mousepad. You see this very intimidating looking figure. This is definitely the most standard control mousepad of the ones I've covered in this video. You can see that it is a very thick mousepad. It's listed at 6 millimeters, just using a standard natural rubber base, and it's just a very standard mousepad. There's no stitched edges, unlike one of the Esport Tiger pads. I think it was the Qingsui 2 that actually felt like it was trying to cut your wrist with the lack of stitched edges. These seem like pretty smooth, no issues, like just resting my forearm over them. And this texture is not a super smooth cloth. It's kind of a gritty cloth. I'm not sure I've felt this exact texture before. Oh wow, my camera's just not gonna focus. I probably have to manually adjust that. Can't be arsed to do that, so no close-up on the texture, unfortunately. And this is just a standard balanced mousepad. It definitely does have a light glide, but if you decide to put some pressure into it, since it is a 6 millimeter thick pad, there definitely is a bit of squishiness to it. I wouldn't compare it to something like an Artisan X soft base, but if you want to gain some control by pressing in, it's very easy to do. But you can see in these glide tests, it actually makes the pad look somewhat speedy, but I would say this is around a 5 out of 10, while the Longteng Huoyun 2 is probably like a 3 out of 10, just to give you an idea of the speed. But I just think for $40, that seems like a kind of high ask when you can get a Pure Track Talent for much cheaper than that. And considering the fact that the Tiger Blaze, which easily costs more money to produce than this, is the same price. So do I recommend it for $40? Not really. Is it a solid, like, extra thick mousepad that's just going to really perform fine across the board in any game? Yeah. Since the pad is so thick and heavy, the base is not going to move around a lot, but it is not the highest quality base. You can see, wow, this camera really hates me. You can see the inconsistencies in the foam, so I'm not sure how it will do in a super humid environment since it is such a dense pad, but I haven't had any slowdown or inconsistencies so far. Holy shit, I can't speak. I need to end this review. But yeah, all around pretty cool looking pad, definitely overpriced. But yeah, what isn't overpriced nowadays? But yeah, that's going to be all for this roundup. The one pad that I'm going to actually seriously recommend, and I actually will give the seal of approval to, is the updated Esport Tiger Blaze. Even though this isn't likely something that I'm going to main on a day-to-day basis, it's without a doubt one of the best Cordura pads on the market. It's not an outrageous ask, and it is the comeback story of a lifetime. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. I appreciate Esport Tiger sending out all of the pads besides this one, which I bought with my own money. Not that it matters or influences my opinion. But yeah, that's going to be all for this review. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Especially subscribe because there is a lot of Mousepad content coming in October, folks. But yeah, that's all. Peace.